Okay, we're back. Coming into, I just want to finish up our texturizer. By the way, we made this a digital asset, so we can put some things there, even though we'll pop them up again later. I think that makes things a little cleaner and easy to see. So first, let's go to here. You might notice by now that I misspelled. We actually called it side. So sides, we're going to say that is the x-axis. Okay, and we'll give it a smaller one. And for the bottom, similar thing. Dun, dun, dun. This is actually texture. I'm going to call this top bot. And this time, this is going to be the y-axis, right, going up. But it's only going to be for the top bot. By the way, all these guys, I'm going to leave these as vertex. And so that's the sides, that's the top and bottom, and let's also do the front and back. By the way, you notice I'm overriding the sides with the top and bottom. We're going to have the option not to do that later on if we don't want texture. I'm going to say front and back. Now, front and back are actually going to be the same one. You might think, well, gee, what if we want something different on the back than we want on the front? Well, in this case, we don't, because the gag is the image is going to decide what, I'm gesturing my hands again, decide what breaks through. So it kind of has to be the same thing on the back as it is on the front. There's a caveat to that I'm going to come in later on, but for now, for the basic thing, that's why we're doing the brick first. It's the quote-unquote simple one. This is going to be our front and back guys are going to have the exact same projection. So, geez, why did I do that? Sorry. I want this to be the front end. I want it to be the back. Okay. So now, your question is going to be, hey, why do things look different? Bum, ba, bum, 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 bum. Anybody notice the change there? I will show you the change. Check that out. See how this guy looks like that? Remember, before he looked stretched like that. Interesting. Now, obviously, sometimes we do want to stretch it, sometimes we don't. This is where we're going to give ourselves some options. The top and bottom, by the way, if you notice, looked a little weird. That's because I had it scaled like this instead of like this. If we do that, then you see the top and bottom has this. Why does that kind of look like a brick? Why did I pick 0.05? I just kind of arbitrarily did it. As a matter of fact, let's bubble some stuff up so I can show you how to do this interactively. Obviously, you do it here, you can't see it. So this number I find interesting. This number I find interesting. And honestly, all these numbers I kind of find interesting. But the projection axes and the scales, these are the kind of things that we want to bubble up. When I say bubble up, I mean I want them to be parameters on this guy. We're going to be doing a lot of this coming up, so this is going to be kind of a good tester. Okay, so let's say inside here, this is called what? This is called SU, SVS, blah, blah. SU is what's interesting on texture side. So let's bubble up that to begin with. Again, I'm going to right click here. You'll see it. Unfortunately, I'm going to type properties, the bottommost one. We're saying to bubble up within the texturizer within what I call texture sides. This is why you got to memorize the thing. Unfortunately, you can't just see it. But the scale U, I want that. Let's hit apply. It gives you these silly things. Gives it to you twice. It's annoying, I know. So let's see if it's connected. Ooh, look at that. See that? Sexy, fun, exciting. It's got a weird name though, so let's give it a better name. This is basically, what do we say this is? I'm going to say that this is the side texture scale. You know something? Here's where we start getting interesting. Let's go ahead and throw some folders down. Let's have one folder for the front and back, called front and back. And due to our OCD, we'll call these exact same name. One for the sides, and one for the top and bottom. Top and bottom. Okay. I want these guys, this guy was actually for the sides. And I want to, whoops, sorry. Okay, I'm going to call this texture scale. The label, I'm going to call it texture scale. Let's see what that looks like. I know it's going to bark at us for this stuff. Ignore that for now. That's probably why I turn those off. Okay, so now we have on the sides a texture scale. And we're going to do the same thing for the top and bottom. By the way, this is where I came up with this 0.05 looking cool. I basically sat there and went, what's about the width of a brick? You know, you might want that and so forth, but I kind of wanted it to be so that a single brick stretched across and, whoops, hey, it can be negative, cool. And 0.05 seemed to be about, you know, the right guy. So let's do the same thing with the top and bottom. Let's bubble up. Again, off screen, I'm hitting type properties. We're going to bubble up from nodes, texture, inside the texturizer, inside the texture of the front and back, inside that the scale, and now you're going to say, which one is it? Was it the SU, the SV, the S blah, blah, blah? And the answer is, I don't remember. I'm going to guess SV maybe, sure. Call that texture scale, and if I'm wrong, then we're going to have to redo it. But fortunately, I'm guessing I'm right. Let's find out. Here's a section, top and bottom. Oh, it's for the front and back. I totally was wrong. Man, I'm a dork. However, niftily, that's that thing, which is interesting. Texture top, bottom, I wanted SV. Did I grab front and back? Grab front and back. Yeah, I did. Okay, we'll change that. But the point is, for the front and back, I actually want all three of these. For these side guys, I just want the one that scales them in the dimension they go. But for the front one, I kind of want all of them. I mean, really just want, technically, we just want X and Y. But I kind of going to grab all of them. So let's go ahead and disconnect this guy and bubble them all up. Make sure we call it top, bottom, front, back the right thing. Let's grab this guy. If you're following along at home, you're probably way ahead of me. Let's hit the thing that's off screen, type properties. Okay, so we're going to grab from nodes. It's not going to be this guy anymore. It's going to be from texture front back. Boy, I totally thought I grabbed that. Texture front back, we said is going to have the middle guy. Oh, I'm sorry, front back. That's why. Just did the same thing again. Sorry. Whew. Front back, right? Front back, we're going to do the whole thing, I said. Let's give it the whole thing. Top, bottom. I guess my problem is just talking and doing things at the same time. Top, bottom, that's the one you just want to grab the middle one. Top, bottom, we'll call it texture scale. Texture scale. And then the front back, again, I'm going to call it texture scale. It's actually already called scale, and I'm going to leave it as all three of them. We really don't need, I'm just hitting accept and OK here. We really don't need the, wait, let's make sure this works. There's your top and bottom scale. Yeah, there we go. So make that like 0.5 again. So get them bricks on the top. That's nice. Our textures for the front and back. We can screw with as well. Probably always going to leave those as 1, but we want to make sure we have the option. So that gives us our texturizer and gives us our connections. We're going to bubble those up to the other guy as well. But I'm not really done with the thing I wanted to say, which was, you might have remembered we also talked about this guy, which is just texture everybody the same, which in some cases you'll want. Obviously we wouldn't in this one. I want to have an option for that. So whenever I say option, you're going to think switch. And when I say switch, we're going to think which way we want to do it. Like, do we want to just stretch the texture? I'm just going to call this just stretch. And normally we would say no, we want the full textures for each guy. Sometimes we want to say we do want the just stretch. Okay, so just stretch, let's bubble that up and have it as an option on our texturizer. We'll put it up at the top. From inside the texturizer, we call it just, whoa. We call it just stretch. Clicking on this, it's our little input for just stretch. Put it in up here. Ugh, at the top. There we go. And this is going to be just a choice. So I'm going to put, I know this is crazy, I'm going to put a question mark on it. Just switch. Stretch. Donk. I can call it just stretch here. Just stretch. We call these names, by the way, this because when we bubble up to the you know, oops, geez, so much happening at once. When we bubble this up to Wallbreaker itself, it'll be easy to know it's texturizer just stretch. Okay, Second place, by default it uses that. We don't want it to be that. We want it to be a toggle. So even though it comes in just as an integer, let's go ahead and change that to a toggle. Why do I care? Because it's called caring about user interfaces, and we do. Always assume this is going to be used by somebody who doesn't know. So, okay, so now you can see we have it. If we just stretch, should change it, shoot. And, well, right. Gotta do that. Okay, just stretches like that. Without stretching, we do that. Nifty. And it's all set. The one other thing I do want to do is we also want to give the user an option to show that, because we're going to use that later. So that's going to be another switch. Okay, I'll just do it really quickly. One more switch, because this way it closes out this thing. Do we want to show that? Normally we just want to show this. This is going to be, I'm going to call this show colors. Normally we don't want to do it, but sometimes we do. Boom, put that there. We go up to here. We add that, going down type properties. We add that from the texturizer. There's this show colors thing. Select input, pop it over here, put it up to here, call it show space colors, the question mark. Give it show colors here. So when we bubble it up, the top one, it'll bubble up correctly. Make it a toggle. A couple seconds. I just want to close this out. Okay, so now when we have this, we can also say, do we want to just see the colors? Okay,